I had a nickel for every time I met a happy INFP, I'd have to pay $30. And as an INFP with a lot of INFP friends, because I guess I'm a magnet for INFPs, I have to say that's kind of surprising. Because INFPs are super easy to make happy. It's like they have a giant happiness button on their body. No, wait, it's like they have 15. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to hit all 15 of them. Now, if you want to find out which button is the most powerful and will make the INFPs so happy they'll explode, metaphorically of course, watch until the end. People canceling plans. For most normal people, when plans get canceled, they get sad. They were looking forward to being with people. But INFPs only agree to associate with people under duress. So if you tell your INFP friend that they can't come with you to the local country fair this weekend, they will have the best weekend ever. Seriously, nothing feels better than doing nothing when you planned to do something. But there's another feeling that INFPs really like too. Sadness. Yes, INFPs feel happy by feeling sad. This one is a bit special, but being sad and crying just feels good. It almost feels like you're being surrounded by a warm blanket, and you feel just so much more alive, and like you understand everything. I like to call it cry-lightenment. So give an INFP some sad music and a box of tissues, with some privacy of course, and that's basically like giving an ESTP alcohol and strippers. But it's not just deep feels that INFPs like. Philosophy. If a ship leaves Athens, and along the way, it gets every single part replaced, and then returns to port, this creates an interesting philosophical question. What could have possibly happened to that ship that made them need to replace every single part on the darn boat? If you ask me, that ship is cursed, and they should probably burn it at sea. INFPs love philosophical discussions. They have very, I'm INFP and this is deep energy. I love listening to videos about philosophy, spirituality, and religion, then spending hours on end debating those ideas inside my head. You know, I should get myself a toga. INFPs tend to be ruled more so by pathos than logos. And you can't get more pathos than romance. I can't help but think the term hopeless romantic was coined to describe INFPs. Can you think of a type that it fits better for? Especially the hopeless part. That's why INFPs are always surrounded by butterflies. They're hoping that somebody else will accidentally eat them and feel how they do. Romantic relationships are kind of special because they're the only kind of relationship where there is an expectation that you stop socializing after you found one. That kind of explains why INFPs like the idea so much. Anime. How many animes have you heard of where the hero has to use the power inside their heart and then scream really loudly to defeat the bad guy? Feels and screams. Can you get any more INFP than that? I don't think I've ever met an INFP who hasn't had some sort of weeb phase. It's kind of a rite of passage for them, like how it is when an ESTP gets their first ankle monitor. Nature. INFPs love to touch grass, because when they don't, they go nuts. It's funny, when I was a kid, the internet was the escape from the real world. But now, the real world has become the escape from the internet. So basically, the internet has gobbled everything up, and we live in a weird version of the Matrix. I always feel good when I go outside, to hear the birds and feel the air. But it's funny, let's be honest, of all of the types, INFPs are the least likely to survive in the wild. Like, if all of the types were on one of those wilderness survival TV shows, INFPs would die before the intro finishes. Coffee. INFPs are nocturnal. They sleep all day, and they sleep all night too. So I guess INFPs are sleep-turnal. But if they're going to be awake, they're going to be more likely awake at night because there are a lot less people around, and it gives you a much better chance of meeting a vampire. But if INFPs want to stay awake during the day or night, they're gonna need their fave coffee drink. Hey, it's self-care. Rainy days. INFPs like rainy days. They're chill. People aren't outside on the streets, nature is its own white noise machine, and INFPs can really relate to rain clouds. INFPs know exactly what it's like to cry everywhere you go. Daydreams. Sadly, you can't sleep 24/7, and doctors are really reluctant to put people in comas. But when INFPs figure out that they can daydream well awake, to them this became the greatest invention since stuffed animals. Now INFPs can daydream at work, waiting in line, or when talking to a friend. Stuffies. If you're a feeler, when you were a kid, you probably always let your stuffed animals' heads stick out of the suitcase so they could breathe. Well, if you're an INFP, you still do that as an adult. And let me tell you, trying to get through TSA with a long-necked and stuffed giraffe raises a few red flags. But stuffies are great. They're all the fun of an animal, kinda, but with none of the responsibilities. Now if they could only make stuffed friends. Fiction. If escapism was a religion, INFPs would be the Pope. INFPs love fiction because it allows them to engage with ideas in new perspectives. And ride dragons. Art supplies. Every type hoards something. ENTJs hoard money, ESTPs collect business cards of attorneys and bail bondsmen. And INFPs, well, they hoard art supplies. They have it all, and they all lay pretty much unused. Unless they're crayons or colored pencils. But the good news is, if you ever need something for an art project, INFPs probably have it. Well, if they can find it. If you've been getting value out of this video, then maybe you could consider giving some value back on my Patreon. Patreon members get early access to my videos, sneak peeks, and some bonus content as rewards. Obviously, I make these videos for free, so there's no pressure to donate anything. But if you have the money, it'll always be appreciated. Being seen as unique. This may only apply to INFPs who are fourth wing on the Enneagram, but INFPs love to be seen as unique. They want to be seen as special because, let's be honest, INFPs won't achieve much with their life, so they need something. Cats. Cats are the ultimate INFP pet. Dogs are great, but they're needy and they don't understand personal space. Cats, on the other hand, will leave you alone until they're hungry, just like INFPs. Cats like to think they're big, strong lions, but they're really just little derps. Again, like INFPs. One friend. Less is more is a stupid saying. This sounds like something Mr. Krabs would say. He reduces the size of a Krabby Patty and doubles the price. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done that yet. But with INFPs, this is kind of true. At least with friends. Less is way more. There's a reason I specifically said one friend. INFPs just don't have the energy for lots of friends. I used to think that the INFP social battery was broken. But it turns out that INFPs don't have social batteries. They have social potatoes. And now everything makes sense. So INFPs are looking for one friend, but to have a really deep relationship. So quality over quantity. That saying makes more sense. So what makes INFPs the happiest? Well, I think it's obviously the alone time. So if you have an INFP friend, show them you care by ghosting them. Temporarily, of course. Come back only when they want you back. Yep, INFPs having only one friend is a little bit less of a preference and more of just a natural outcome. INFPs want the impossible. After watching this video, you might think that INFPs are the worst type. And you know what? They kind of are. In fact, I made an entire video about that you can watch right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special thanks to my patrons, and I'll catch you guys all next time.